What's up guys, welcome back. Today is a very big day because I'll be dyno tuning my BA Falcon. And yes, I will be, myself. I'm going to be tuning my Falcon for the first time, and the first time I've ever tried to mess around with tuning a car in this video. So I am very nervous but very excited. I've done a lot of work over the past couple weeks to this car to get it ready for the dyno. So since last time I've done quite a few upgrades, and I'm hoping that it's going to help make us more power on the dyno when we get there. And I'm very curious to see how much more power we can get out of the tune as well. I've seen some decent numbers where they can get about like 10-15 kilowatts more out of these things. So I guess that would be kind of the goal, but I don't really have too much idea what power it's going to make, what it's initially going to make for a baseline, and then how much we'll be able to actually extract out of it. So I'm very, very excited. So let's head down there now and start getting this car onto the dyno. Alrighty guys, we made it to Misch's XL garage. So this is where I'm going to be dynoing the car, because he's actually got a dyno at the back, which is pretty cool, and he's allowed me to use it. So big thanks to Misch for letting me use his dyno. Yeah, so we're going to go in and yeah, get this thing loaded up on the dyno. Alrighty guys, just before we put the Falcon onto the dyno, I wanted to run through what I actually did to the car. So if we come over to the Falcon here, we can see that a few things are different here. So we've got this Misch airbox system. So we've got a K&N filter under there. It fits really nicely, comes with all the brackets and all that sort of stuff. So I'll put that on there. Will it make a difference? Maybe, maybe not. But it looks cool, and you get a little bit of sound from the K&N filter. So it's cool. Hopefully get some air from somewhere. I mean, we don't really have anywhere good place to actually get air from, because I mean, if you cut a hole in the headlight it would be great, but anyway, it looks cool when I put it on. And then we've got this part here. This is actually a territory intake pipe, and it's actually just a little bit bigger. Normally it's got a bit of a dent in it over here to clearance the hood, but it actually fits with the territory one. So I installed that in, and also because this has got tough mounts, the edge doesn't move at all, so it's not really going to go and bounce into the hood. And I haven't got any marks in it. That was just all there before, so it all fits, it all works. And then over here, we've got some Pacemaker 4490 headers, and I did paint them black, but as you can see, it's already flaking off because of how hot it gets on the manifold over here. But these sound really, really cool. And then I've matched this with a full exhaust system. I think it was originally an X4 system, but someone has cut the center muffler out and put a hot dog in there, which actually sounds really cool, as you'll hear on the dyno clips in a minute. And then on the front of the motor, we have actually put in a 20% underdrive kit, and that works really well. It should let the engine rev up a little bit freer, and it doesn't actually compromise really anything else. Like the power steering works perfectly fine. There's plenty of charge coming from the alternator, and it spins the water pump and the AC and all that fast enough to where you don't even notice a difference. So I guess that's kind of free power just by basically spinning all the accessories a little bit slower. And then the last thing, performance-wise, we've done to this car is a lightweight flywheel. So it's a extreme lightweight flywheel matched with the extreme clutch, and it's actually a turbo flywheel and a turbo clutch. Just because I wanted the clutch to be able to handle a little bit more power, because one day I do want to turbo this car, and also because this is a track car and a drift car, it doesn't hurt to have a much stronger clutch, especially from last time, if you remember, blew up the clutch at the track. So that is all fixed now. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I do have a Phoenix radiator in here. It's coated black, so you wouldn't even really tell the difference, but that's really good. The stock fans bolt up to it. The AC condenser on the front bolts up to it. It's a really, really good piece of kit, that thing. that really helps for the temps on track as well, because I did have this radiator in for the last track day and it was great. So that's really all the performance mods done to this car. It's pretty basic, but it should be a pretty good package to make some decent power and see some decent gains on the dyno. I wish I did dyno the car beforehand without all the mods to see where it truly was with the shitty exhaust system and intake and all that sort of stuff. But I just didn't have time to go to the dyno it, come back, put all the stuff on, and then get another day at the dyno. It's just a little bit of a hassle, so we'll get a baseline with where it's at with all that stuff done to it, and then we'll see if we can get a little bit more power by just tweaking the tune just a little bit. We'll see how it goes. So we'll cut back to the footage of the first pull. Alrighty guys, so we've got this thing set up. So it's on the dyno. We've got the RPM reading over there. And this is the screen I'll be looking at. This is the dyno screen. So we've got RPMs down there. We've also got AFRs, which has gone weird for some reason. But yeah, so got my keyboard, got the fan out there, there's some headphones. And so now I'm gonna connect up my laptop to this so I can data log what the car is doing. And yeah, we'll see how we go. We'll basically just start with ramp runs, just power runs, and we'll see what baseline power figure we actually get in this thing. Alright guys, just did our baseline. So, don't know if you can see there, but it's 185 kilowatts and 549 newton meters of torque. So, pretty good. The curve looks good. It's about what you'd expect for a Barra, I guess. But yeah, 185 kilowatts is a lot more than I actually thought. I thought that's what we'd be getting at the end of the day. So, 185 kilowatts is actually pretty good for this little thing. I guess because this car is manual, so that helps as well. But now I think I'm going to mess with the fueling, so I'm going to navigate over to my base fueling, and I reckon at the higher RPMs here I'm going to take some fuel out and see what that does. Alrighty guys, so I did a couple runs there just seeing where the fuel wanted to be. So I tried to go a little bit leaner and then I tried to go a little bit richer, and it seemed to like exactly where it was. So I've left the fueling basically exactly where it is. So now I'm going to mess with ignition timing. Hopefully I think we should see some pretty good gains out of this, because now we're on 98 octane instead. These cars are normally tuned for 91, so we should be able to see a couple gains there. We'll make sure we don't get any knock, because obviously that's would be bad for it, but we'll add in 2 degrees, and we'll just keep adding 2 degrees until we sort of get to a point where we're not making more power or we start getting a bit of knock. So we'll start doing that, see how that goes. Alrighty guys, so just dialed in the ignition timing there. So I found about 4 degrees extra, about 4 to 6 degrees extra in the mid-range, so from about 2.5 to about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. Seemed to like it. It's up a lot of mid-range with that timing. So now I'm going to play with the variable cam timing and see if we can extract any more out of that. So yeah, we'll give that a go now. Alrighty guys, so we just finished up tuning the Falcon, and we went from basically 180 kilowatts to 192, which is really good. So added a little bit more VCT timing in the mid-range, and then actually dropped a little bit at the top end, and seemed to really work really well. And I just took it for a little test drive, and man, it's pretty quick actually. It's very impressive. So no, I'm going to drive this home now, and yeah, I'll show you the dyno sheet when I get home. Alrighty guys, so here is the dyno sheet. So basically this is the before and after. So in the blue, we've got before, the light blue, and then the after is the red and darker blue for torque. So as you can see, it looks quite similar, but where we really picked up was kind of in the mid-range, about probably 4,500, 4,500. And as you can see, it's quite a big difference. So yeah, so not really too much. I couldn't really find any more in the lower end to sort of mid-range up sort of here, and same with the torque, couldn't really find much, but there was definitely a little bit of power to be found up here, which will definitely be noticeable because, I mean, this is where kind of the car lives when you're at the track. You kind of fall back to sort of around this range and then rev all the way up through to here. So it does drop off a fair bit, which is, you know, expected for a stock motor. I am kind of curious to see if we could fix this in any sort of way. I've got a couple ideas in mind that I want to try to this engine to see if we can actually get this a bit more flatter, because I mean, we drop away to about probably 160 kilowatts at redline compared to 192, right around there, but still pretty good numbers. I'm very happy with the result. I think for an NA engine, and I know every dyno is different, and I think this dyno probably does read a little bit higher than most, but still pretty good numbers. It means the engine's pretty healthy. Also, you might notice that it says 180 kilowatts there when our first run was actually 185. That's because the car was quite cold. All the temps were fairly cold, so it made a little bit more power, but after a couple runs, this is the consistent number we were getting. And then after a couple runs, that was the consistent number we were getting for power-wise after all the tweaks we did to the tuning. So yeah, so that first run didn't really count. You always want to do a couple runs just to get just to get the heat into it, and also you want particularly the intake air temps to be equal across all the runs. And yeah, that 185 kilowatts first run, the intake air temps were pretty low. So that 180.2 kilowatt run was with pretty much the exact same air temp as that 191.9 kilowatt run there. So with that said, I'm still very happy with the result. About 12 kilowatt gain, which is actually really great. Like, I think that should be fairly noticeable on track. I'm very keen to get this thing onto the track, and I will be getting this thing out to the track very soon, which you guys will see in the next video. So we're taking this car to the bend for the first time, and with all these power mods, we're going to see what the car does out there. I'm very excited for it. I think the car's going to be really good. I'm not really sure what sort of lap time this thing will do. If I reckon if I get under a 2:20, I'll be pretty happy. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next video at the bend.